Olivier Flambard. I'm the Mpatamanga Hydropower Project Director.
And I'm Darren Pertulapak. I'm looking after the contracts for this project.
So welcome to this YouTube presentation of Mpatamanga Hydropower Project and on the associated tender process. So during this presentation, the idea is to share with you the key parameter and information regarding the Mpatamanga Hydropower Project, co-developed by EDF, SCATEC, Government of Malawi, and IFC, and to go through the main characteristic of the incoming initial selection process and tender process in order to select the 3 EPC contractor to build with EPC1 the civil works, with EPC2 the electromechanical equipment, and with EPC3 the transmission line and the substation. So all the details will be given during this presentation, and you can obviously carry on having all the details through the project company, Mpatamanga Hydropower Limited website. So please consult regularly MHPL website on www.mpatamangahydro.com on the pages news or on the page offer. And you will be informed, and you will be able to download the general procurement notice and the specific procurement notice when available.
Hi. Thank you, Olivier. So just to reiterate, we have 3 contracts. We have a civil contract, we have turbines and generators, we are going to call the electromechanical contract, and we have the transmission lines and substations, plural. And the reason why I'm saying plural is we actually have 2 generating stations as part of this project, and we'll tell you more about that in a moment. The intent of this slide is to remind everybody and to enforce in the hydropower community that this process is a public-private partnership agreement. We are following World Bank processes, and therefore we just want to state that our project goals remain, that we are going to be ethical, we're going to be fair, we're going to be transparent, we're not going to discriminate, and we're going to keep our processes very confidential amongst all the parties until we sign our contracts at the end. The intent of any contract, as well as this one, is to obtain the best value for money, and we have a strong desire and a commitment to keep the tariff for the country very low, and this is the country of Malawi. We want to remind everybody on the slide that local contractors do exist in Malawi of different capacity. We want to have these 3 contracts, EPC1, EPC2, and EPC3, civil, electromechanical, transmission lines, and substations, to use local contractors to the best of their ability and to help us support Malawi in our processes. We want to also reiterate, and I'll do it again in another slide, that our processes are very strong on environmental and social safeguards, as well as health and safety. We do treat the technical, we give technical marks, very high marks in the technical aspects, but environmental and social, health and safety are going to be equally regarded as very important on this project. This disclaimer is to let the viewers know that this has been pre-recorded on November 20th of this 2023. This presentation is going to be reused, it's going to be shared, and we just want to have it as a record that we're not going to be responding to any comments or questions that are not possible in this pre-recorded presentation. And the information that we're sharing with you will be tweaked a little bit, so we don't want you to be using information inappropriately. And all information and updates are always available on our website, as mentioned by Olivier moments ago. In terms of the project is located in Malawi. It is on 2 sides of the river. It's in Blantyre district and Nino district on the right side of the river. Majority of the works will be on the left side in Blantyre, and you can see where Malawi rests in the African image, as well as neighboring countries of Mozambique, Tanzania, and Zimbabwe. The project is positioned on the Shiri River. There are 3 existing plants on the river. We are number 4, and we're fitting in between the Tanzania and the Kapachira generating stations.
So this Mpatamanga project was pre-developed by the government of Malawi with the support of IFC from World Bank Group between 2015 and 2020. Then they decided to select a strategic sponsor through a tender, and this is how EDF and Scatec were officially appointed as strategic sponsor in September 22. And this was the beginning of the official beginning of the development phase, so September 22. So since we have performed quite a lot of activities, the design freeze to set all the key parameters of the project are now finalized and approved. We have carried out a lot of ground surveys, such as geotechnical, for example. On this basis, we are currently working on the basic design, which shall be finalized by end of March 24. In parallel, we are preparing all the environmental and social safeguard document satisfactory to World Bank Group and our lenders. And all those safeguard documents, such as the ESIA, Biodiversity Action Plan, Cumulative Impact Assessment, Resettlement Action Plan, shall be finalized by mid-24 in order to be able to go to World Bank Board by the end of 24. We have almost finalized the negotiation of the 2 most important project agreements, which are the implementation agreement and the power purchase agreement. We are also performing a local market survey to identify the key local players which could be used by you as subcontractor in order to have the biggest local content possible. So it is now time to select the 3 contractors to build this project. The initial selection documents have just been finalized and shall be published soon. The general procurement notice to inform all the hydropower community was published on the 9th of November. And in this GPN, you may have seen that the specific procurement notice was supposed to be published today. Actually, it will be the case later this month, but you will have you can monitor that on the MHPL website in particular. And in this specific procurement notice, you will find all the practical information and details to contact us and to ultimately be able to download the initial selection document for each contract. So this project, as I have said earlier, is co-developed by a consortium made of 2 strategic sponsors working together, EDF and Scatec, which all 55% of MHPL share, the government of Malawi 30%, and IFC 15%. So we have already set up the special purpose vehicle, Mpatamanga Hydropower Limited, which is a private limited company registered in Malawi since mid-2022. Scatec is a Norwegian company specialized in renewable energies, and EDF is a French company involved in all the electricity businesses, and IFC is the private sector within represent the private sector within the World Bank Group. So this Mpatamanga project is developed through a project finance scheme. So you can recognize a rather classic mechanism. You have the project company, the SPV, in the center, MHPL, set up in 22. On top, you have the four ultimate shareholders of the project company. Government of Malawi, 30%, IFC 15%, and EDF and Scatec 55% together. On the right-hand side, you have the different contract and agreements, at least the most important one. So the EPC contracts, we will have 3 EPC contracts, as said earlier. We'll have a generation license with Malawian Electricity Regulation Authority. We'll have an implementation agreement with the government of Malawi, a connection agreement, and a power purchase agreement with ESCOM. On the bottom, you can see the different funds provider, which will be basically the World Bank group with IDA and IFC, plus DFIs and commercial banks. We expect a debt to equity ratio of 75 to 25. IDA, on top of providing a grant to the government of Malawi, will also provide a payment guarantee to cover 6 months of PPA revenue, and also a loan guarantee to cover commercial banks loans.
Okay, I can take a few slides here, Olivier. Thank you very much for that background information. It's a reminder to the viewers that we're really reminding everybody that we're moving into the initial selection process. And this presentation is to introduce and broadcast as wide as we can to the international hydropower community on what we're trying to do. We want to invite everybody to participate or have a chance to participate. This slide here is to tell the audience that this project, the Mpatamanga project, will be more than doubling the capacity of the energy output for the country. So it's very exciting for ourselves as well as the government to be able to do this. And also in this slide, we're just reminding you again that environmental and social health and safety are critical aspects for our tendering process, but also for our initial selection, where we will be selecting contractors to participate in the 3 split contracts. This particular slide is you can review it again later, but it shows you the future inundated areas in a very barren landscape in this location of the country. We have 2 facilities I mentioned earlier. We have the upper main powerhouse, and we have it downstream about 6 kilometers as the crow flies along the length of the river, a lower facility called the regulating dam. And we'll just touch upon that in a few more slides. This particular slide is to tell you we have existing roads to be upgraded, and we also have new roads to be constructed. This slide is correctly showing the new road from the right side of the river, the Nino district, will be traveling directed over the main dam. And there is some connection that'll occur off the main dam onto the existing road on the far left side. This slide is telling us that we're obviously fitting between 2 existing generating stations on the Nino River, on the Shiri River. The details that follow the slide will be about the main dam and the upstream generating facility. This, again, is the upper main dam, or the upper generating facility. We envision a gravity dam comprised of a roller compacted concrete. So it's a concrete gravity dam. The dimensions are roughly as shown on this picture. We'll have a diversion tunnel on the right-hand side coming down the river, and we'll have 4 spillway bays and a lower bottom outlet directed into a plunge pool. Give you some sense of proportion. The dimensions shown are approximate. They're subject to change. So you're welcome to look at the numbers, but you can't really do much with it until the drawings are finally published in the basic design. This slide is showing you the plan, the overall footprint of the upper main dam, the upper generating facility. As I told you, the road will come across the main dam. The lower bridge that is shown here was an option, but it's been removed. So the road will be, the main public passageway will be over the main dam and connecting onto some of our roads that we're showing here. The powerhouse is located somewhat downriver. We have two tunnels conveying water through the mountainside over towards the powerhouse. Another view of the tunnels. This is just a concept here that we need to show you, that the shafts, surge shafts, are required. There'll be basically an underground facility, so there'll be some capacity for the civil contractor to be able to look after the tunnels, as well as mining a vertical shaft, two of them. The numbers in the table are subject to change a little bit. The proportions shown here will change a little bit, so the dimensions are considered approximate. But this is the general layout of the big powerhouse, the upper main powerhouse. And we have ourselves 4 units. They're going to be vertical Francis units with a fairly substantial service bay on the one side of the powerhouse. We're now moving to the downstream regulating dam. This is the Shiri River, just to remind myself and the viewers. Thank you. We are now looking at the 52 megawatts out of the 361 megawatt combined total. This is also a roller compacted concrete gravity dam. Volumes are approximate. There will obviously be some CVC in there, so the numbers are approximate. We have a powerhouse that is close coupled, attached to the dam site. You can see the 2 water passages on the powerhouse. So it's a 2-unit facility. Another slide you can refer to later, just showing what we envision the lower facility will look like. This is very similar details to the previous slide for the upper main dam. The numbers shown here are approximate. They're very close, but we don't want you to run away with these dimensions and start designing anything or what have you. But this slide is also to tell us that we have 2 units and they're going to be horizontal bulb units. This slide here is to remind everybody, or even myself, that the next discussion point is the transmission lines. We have 2 new transmission lines. We also have 2 substations that we have to create. The main facility, the upper dam, the upper powerhouse, and its own substation will have a new single circuit 400 kV line that runs up to Mpatamanga. And we have roughly 64 kilometers in a right-of-way of roughly 53 meters that will connect to an existing high voltage substation at Mpatamanga to our new substation. The lower facility, the regulating dam and powerhouse, connected to the main dam, to the regulating dam, has its own substation. And this substation will loop in and loop out of an existing 132 kV line that connect the existing 2 generating stations, the Tadzani and the Kapchira. The layout of our contracts are shown here. The key image, the key point on the left-hand side is an interface agreement. We highly require, this will be part of the initial selection process. There's a submission letter that is it's already drafted. The documents are ready. And in that document, you'll be signing off and agreeing to participating in an interface arrangement or an interface agreement. So that red box is basically stating that these 3 separate contracts need to work together and set the milestones and the schedule according to our requirements. This slide is also telling us again, as Olivier stated earlier, the basic design has been substantially completed. A few more details are required. We'll polish off some of those dimensions. And at the end of the day, the design is handed over to the contractors to take as their own and to commit to completing the process and the construction works. We also have some risk sharing that is inevitable in any hydropower project, as most people know. We'll have geological risks associated with mainly the tunnels and maybe some excavation work for the main powerhouse. And we'll set thresholds over and above what can be anticipated, and we can deal with that during the contracting process. This slide is also reminding you and us to tell you that the initial selection process is a precursor to the RFP that will come afterwards, and that we're following World Bank guidelines. We have the initial selection process that the applicants will have to meet certain financial and technical eligibility, as well as environmental, social, and health and safety aspects to create a valuation to get through the process. When the initial selection process is out on the market, you will be sending an email to the corporation, the Mpatamanga Hydropower Limited, and we will be providing you with a non-disclosure agreement that terms and conditions that you have to agree to allow you to access our virtual data room, and from there the process begins. You're welcome to privately review the documents, and you'll have your own directory, what have you. This slide, as well as the one that follows, you could come back to this and review this. The key concepts here on who's doing what work. Transmission lines are getting the substations. We do recognize there's some civil works associated with that. And so the concept of local suppliers and contractors fits in very well with that concept. Electromechanical group will be responsible for the generators. He also has the main inlet valves, but he also has the draft tubes, draft tube gates for the regulating dam, the lower generating station. I think that's the key aspects here. If there's anything else, Olivier could jump in and highlight. The slide is available.
Balance of plant, of course.
Balance of plant, of course, yes. Overhead traveling crane is for the electromechanical person. So just to close out, you can review this at your leisure after this slide is provided to you.
Okay, thanks, Darren. So to conclude, just to give you some thoughts regarding the incoming timeline. So the procurement strategy is now finalized and defined with the three split contract, as explained, with all the core principles explained by Darren. It is now time to start the initial selection process. So as I said earlier, by the end of this month, we expect to publish the specific procurement notice, and you shall be invited to send an email which will be given in this SPN, and after the signature of a non-disclosure agreement, you will be granted access to this VDR. So basically, you shall have December and up to mid-January to fill all the templates and to send your applications. Then we will have 1 month to 1 month and a half to review the different application and to select between 3 to 5 contractors for each contract. And it is, as of today, our intention to issue the RFP for the 3 contracts somewhere in April or May next year. The idea being to be in a position to award the contracts in the first quarter of 2025. It is our intention to launch some early works, in particular the upgrade of the access road within the EPC1 contract through a limited notice to proceed in the second quarter of 2025, and the main works shall start in the Q4 2025 for about 50 months. So basically, this is the expected timeline. So as Darren mentioned, we are going to follow the World Bank guidelines for this tender. So with an initial selection process, a single stage two envelope RFP, and then the best value for money offers to be selected. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and for all the incoming information, please regularly visit our MHPL website, www.mpatamangahydro.com. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.